Now up next for the Lieutenant Governor, running with the Constitution Party, Ms. Cynthia Davis.
It is an incredible honor to be in Jefferson County. And I have to say, some of my very best friends are from Jefferson County. So this is extreme. It's like a homecoming, and you know who you are. I want to introduce myself. I'm Cynthia Davis, and I am running for Lieutenant Governor. Where my story started was my husband and I live in St. Charles County. And what's special about Jefferson County, which I think some of you can appreciate particularly, is you've had a political shift going on. We've all watched it, and it's very confusing, and people are looking at this and saying, is it a Republican county or is it a Democrat county? And the answer is, there's a point where both parties have failed us. And we have to be honest enough to look at what is going to get us where we need to go. So for my husband and I, we were living in O'Fallon, and he was gone all the time, and we said, what's something we can do where he can be home and we can provide something O'Fallon doesn't have that it needs that would raise the moral fiber of the community? And the answer was, let's open up a Christian bookstore. So we opened a Back to Basics Christian bookstore. If any of you ever get to St. Charles County, you need to come see us, because we're still there and we get it. But I'll tell you what's unfortunate is the crisis our city had a few years after we opened up. And the city fathers made a decision to shut down Main Street during the Christmas season. And that created a huge hardship on the business community. And that there's a principle that works every time. It's if you ever want to bring people together, you take bread off their table. And in the crisis of not being able to get customers to our stores anymore, we formed a business association. We came together and asked, what can we do to take some responsibility for correcting the bad decisions our government's making? So they appointed me to be the chairman of the legislative committee, and that was fine. I said, what do I do? They said, go to all the Board of Aldermen meetings and report back to us every month on what they're doing to ruin our lives next. And I said, I can do that. So I did. For a solid year, I went to all the Board of Aldermen meetings, and I came back to the business community every month, and I gave my report. But after doing it for a year, at the end of my report, I said, ultimately, we cannot fix city government till we fix the people in those seats. And that's when somebody said, well, then why don't you run? And I thought, okay, I will. I did. I won. I won 5 terms on that city council. And it was great. But then when I got in city government, I realized the real problem was state government. So after serving 4 terms in the Missouri State Legislature, I realized the real problem is federal government. But you know what? The truth is all governments have the same problem. They tend to be greedy and seek to extract the maximum from the people. And the elected officials get elected, and then their first job becomes, how do I get reelected? And they forget why they're there in the first place. So that's where I began. I want to tell you something encouraging, though. I am winning. I'm winning straw polls. People want to hear the positive message that you don't have to take the same old status quo anymore. We have things better. We have better choices. And when people are left with the freedom to pick who really best resonates with their values, we're on top. So let me tell you what I won. This. When you're in the legislature and you don't dole out favors to the special interest groups, you don't get a lot of awards. But I won 1 award, and it was for being the most constitutional legislator in the state of Missouri. Thank you. Okay, thank you. And you know what? It's easy to win a granite plaque like that. Anybody can do it. You just have to vote constitutionally. It works every time. So, I want to tell you, while I was there though, if you want to know what my philosophy is, I made my mark by filing the Healthcare Freedom Bill, the uniforms freedom bill and the light bulb freedom bill. And I can't tell you in such a short amount of time what they all did, but I just want to say it's all about freedom, and that's what made America great, and that's what's still going to make our state great, is people who love freedom and want to do the right thing by their citizens. So Missouri Right to Life has given me their exclusive endorsement, and that means the other choices are not endorsable according to their criteria. And what's special about this is actions speak louder than words. Now, my husband and I have 7 children, same mom, same dad. Have to explain that. But what's funny is that until we get this, actions speak louder than words, we're going to get duped time and time again and again and again. And I call it, you've heard of battered spouse syndrome, I call it the battered voter syndrome, because there are plenty of people who are going to stand here in front of you come election time and tell you what they think you want to hear just to get your vote. And then after the election, it's meaningless. And it doesn't count for anything. It's all about how do I get, how do we stick under the caucus? And the caucus is what's not serving us well. So the beautiful part about me running for lieutenant governor is I am in a position to hold them all accountable. And that is what we desperately need. Now, some of you sitting here tonight might be asking one question. What does the lieutenant governor do? Well, the fact that you have to ask should tell you right there that what's been going on has not been much. And what we're going to see is somebody who's willing to raise the iron shade and let the sun shine in, because that's what I do well. I do it exceptionally well. I write a newsletter every week, and you can sign up for it on my website, which is votecynthia.com. You can also donate to me, because, when you don't sell your soul, you don't get all the big donations. And I need you. And we all need each other. And you will be very happy with what you see with me as the lieutenant governor. So if none of you have ever had an alcoholic in your family, let me give you some thoughts to take home with you. The first step is to admit we've got a problem. The second step is to call on a higher power for help. And the third step is, let's give them an intervention. I will be the designated driver in the room full of drunks. Thank you.
All right, so you were a state rep?
Yes, with some of the people in the room, they can vouch for me.
But were you a Democrat, Republican, or
I
Constitution
was
Party?
Republican.
All right.
Yes, I know. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Give her a big hand.
Yeah.